The resources boom is driving the economy in Australia at the moment, and tourists also seem to be interested in seeing the action happening in the mines itself. Why do you think that tourists are interested in seeing that?
Well, tourists of course will go to any area just to have a look at the scenery, and when they get there, if they realise that there are extra things that they can see and do, they'll certainly participate in that. And with the resource industry and the mining companies now, they actually have tours and facilities where actual tourists can go into some of the sites with guides and have a look at the operations.
The mining boom has been happening for a while in Australia. Why do you think that the industrial tourism is growing at the moment?
Once upon a time, mining comprised of individual miners sinking shafts, and it was all small operations, whereas these days of course the mines are now mega million-dollar operations. They now just dig the entire earth out and process the earth, so now there is far more to see on the surface rather than having to go underground. So that's why, because really there are bigger mining companies and there's more to see on the surface.
So when I think of mining, I think of people underground digging gold in dark tunnels. What can people expect when they go on a mining tour?
Well, once upon a time that was the traditional way of extracting gold. You would go down to a shaft and you would hammer away and try and get the gold out that way. But these days, as I say, the mining companies now have these huge haul-pack trucks, and they actually just take all the earth away, dig a giant hole, and they process the actual earth to get the gold out. But in Kalgoorlie, at the Mining Hall of Fame, there is still a tourist mine whereby you can actually go underground in what was a working mine, and you can actually just walk around with a guide and you can see just how underground mining used to be back in the early days.
So when people go on a trip, what are their responses? Do they like it?
They go, wow! People absolutely love seeing it. When they get there and they have a look at the super pit, even though they've seen photographs of it, when you actually stand there and you can see it in 3D, it's about 2-3 kilometres long by about 1.5–2 kilometres wide. It's about half a kilometre deep. And just to see these teeny weeny little trucks driving up the side and then realising that they are enormous, people really get a perspective of how big this is.
What do the mining companies itself think of this sort of tourism? Do they like it? Do they encourage people to see the mines?
They actually encourage it because the mining companies of course do want to get involved with local communities, and by being involved with local communities, by opening their doors for tours to be allowed through the mine, it actually shows the local people just exactly what they do and how they do it. And some of their sons and daughters and husbands are actually working in those mines, so they get a chance just to see how their relatives are actually working in those areas, so they do encourage it.